one of the I always look forward to General Motors presentation, but Holly, I did have to look up what a catalog card was on ChatGPT. So, so candidates are nominated by the Oros KS team members for hard work, dedication to establishing, deploying, and sustaining model-based cognition within their organization. So it's my honor to award the Trailblazer Award to Darwin Peterson from Spirit Aerosystems. All right, so I have a couple of, well, we talked about this last night. So, so it wasn't quite a surprise. But Darwin, tell us a little bit. I know you had a presentation earlier, but give us a little bit of an overview of your role at Spirit. Since I know you've been at Spirit for a long time.
Yep, Boeing, then Spirit, and soon to be Boeing again. So, yeah, I hired in summer of '88. Been there ever since. Primarily always in a manufacturing engineering role for a while. Moved into IT from a management structure. That was a bit interesting considering what I was doing. But all that time, as I mentioned earlier, has been spent in some form or fashion of knowledge management, knowledge representation, and structuring it to support automation type things that we were trying to do, whatever that happened to be. A lot of different opportunities along the way, but that was still the core thread.
So specifically, can you outline what led to the specific project or initiatives that led to this recognition?
Sure. I think it's been about, 6 or so years ago. I've lost track. About 6 years ago, there was a group of us that were involved. We'd been talking for several years before that about some ideas we'd had for a long time that we wanted to do. And we were looking for a project that we could propose to get funded. About that time, leadership came to us with a mandate of one to do, so that solved that problem. And it was go do it. And that was very early in that is when our team first learned about AROS. We didn't even know it existed. For some people, it's maybe a little difficult to get their head around what it is or what its value is. Because my career had always been in this space, it was about a half a second before I realized the value. I was really excited. I was thinking, man, I wish I had this a long time ago. So we began to learn to use it for this project. The project, if you've been coming to this conference for years, I presented about 3 years in a row talking about what that project was. And in short, the first one is implemented. We're in the second one now, should implement next year. And they were essentially trying to incorporate manufacturing automation in the aerospace world, which is very difficult to do. And one of the real problems, of course, is that our product life cycle is so long. So you get major variations on a platform. A lot of the engineering doesn't change. So I've got 2, 3, 4 generations of things that are almost 30 years old in the engineering content and format. I got mixtures of 2D, 3D, different forms of 3D. So we were trying to build automation where we could have machine-readable engineering. So a large part of the task was trying to get old engineering content, an authoritative derivative brought up to where we could machine read it, do manufacturing process rules, specification modeling, and all that to support automated process planning. Okay. So it's been quite a monumental task. It was very painful at times, exhilarating occasionally, generally painful. It's been a real learning experience. I would say what we did in the first one, I'd call it production prototype 1.0. Even though it is in production, I'll call it a prototype. The one we're working on now has a lot of tremendous improvements in it. Still a long ways to go, and I'm going to call it production prototype 2.0. But the context in which we came at it was process planning. So hence a lot of what you saw in terms of the PowerPoints and orchestrating sets of things. We knew that's where we were going in the first place. Trying to start with a blank piece of paper, however, if you will, and there are there's no examples. There was no example content from AROS with anybody trying to do what we were trying to do. It was a little tough getting started. Some people would say things like, well, just put some rules in there. Well, no, it's not quite that simple. So eventually I developed a lot of common constructs, so I'll call them K-Pack types, for particular kinds of things that created layers of structure to be able to do things. So processes can have processes, etc. And how to instantiate those, explode them so that they're very flexible. If you try to do every end permutation, that's kind of ridiculous and misses the point of rules or a knowledge-based approach. So that's the kind of thing that really drove it. The things that we showed in the earlier presentations, those were actually side add-on things. When I had time, we went and did those. They were not the initiator projects. And so they're still ongoing.
And what measurable impact has your project had on Spirit Aerosystems?
Well, that's a really good question. I can't put dollars and cents to it, but I can tell you this. I can tell you the Boeing's really excited about it. And they can hardly wait until the legalities are done where we can share more things. The approach to modeling is nobody's going backwards now. There's no more naysayers. That era is over. We've conquered that. At least in the particular realm that we're in, we have a whole lot more to go work on. I think even just things that have been presented today are going to be excellent tools in being able people to understand a larger vision and to sell it. We've done product specifications, process specifications, manufacturing process knowledge, all of those kinds of things. We've worked in all of those. Nobody's saying don't do it, right? Everybody's saying, wow, this is really great. Challenge has really more been, we don't have enough staff to do all the things. I mean, I got a whole list of things I've been trying to do for years, and trying to help people get started on those projects.
So in what ways do you strive to be a role model for your team, industry peers, and what legacy do you hope to leave behind as you come to the end of your career?
Oh, I mentioned earlier, people matter most. I think from my perspective, you need to always keep that in mind. You should love people and not things, so you use things to bless the people you love, not the other way around. And I think that philosophically is important. I mean, we're talking technically, but the technical tools just facilitate you accomplishing that. This is why I believe so firmly in the simple idea of job role transitioning, making people's job roles more effective, more enjoyable. When I hired in, Boeing had started this intern program in manufacturing engineering. They were only, in Wichita, they were only going to hire 12. I was 12. They went on to increase that, and I think it was, 40-some over several years that they did. And then it died, it ended. I think more than 90% of all those people are gone, and most of them left within 5 years that did leave. I view that as really tragic. Most were motivated, educated, ready to go, but there was no path forward, okay, for many of them, and that's why they left. I think every company has a problem retaining talent because they don't see purpose. They don't see an opportunity. I think this domain space itself has just endless opportunity. And I think the things that we're talking about facilitate that. So from my perspective, that's what I try to encourage young people. I've been looking for somebody like a young man that we have, and I'm so excited. He's been working in our group for over a year. Just to be able to see for them the opportunities that are in front of them that I envisioned 30 plus years ago are now a reality is very exciting. And from a legacy standpoint, I try to, I hope people just remember that there's something purposeful to do, not just coming home with a paycheck, but some job satisfaction in it. You know, at least enjoy your job once in a while, right? So,
Everyone, please join me in congratulating Darwin Peterson from Spirit Aerosystems.